Hello and welcome once again. Former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau is casting doubts over the chances of the political coalition to upstage President Bola Tinubu and his All Progressives Congress in the 2027 elections. In a statement released to the press, Shekarau said only a coalition led by political parties, not individuals, can unseat APC, while the People's Democratic Party PDP chieftain urged opposition parties to work together to strengthen the existing political platform to achieve that goal. The leader of the League of Northern Democrats said while it may not be impossible to defeat the APC, he stressed that for a coalition to succeed, it must be formed by established political parties, not individuals seeking power. He debunked reports attributed to him that the coalition could not defeat President Tinubu. Well, and joining us now for a chat on the state of the coalition is the convener, Northern League of Democrats, Omar Ardo. Glad to have you join us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Wonderful. So what do you make of Shekarau's statement?
Okay, we have discussed this with him on several occasions. I think he is taking cue from what happened in 2015, where political parties, rather than individuals, came together to fuse and form the All Progressive Congress. But the dynamics are not the same. They are quite different. Now, to defeat the incumbent, you really, in my view, don't need a whole coalition of political parties, because as it is, the regime is very, very vulnerable. Most of the electorates, especially in the part of the country that I come from, in the north, they are very upset and very unhappy. So it is actually not the 2027 election is not about the defeating of President Tinubu. It is about who succeeds President Tinubu, because his defeat is virtually imminent. But who succeeds him is the issue that could have problem. And once this issue is resolved, I guarantee you don't need any coalition, because the electorates have virtually made up their minds from what I have seen.
Actually, you're basically answering one of my questions here. But before I get to that, who succeeds him in APC or ADC? I mean, what are you saying? Who ADC is going to throw up to challenge him, or who they're going to throw up? What do you really mean?
You know, there is a huge hype on ADC. But actually, it's not about ADC. We could have a four-pronged contest, the way I see it. There could be, there is going to be APC with obviously President Tinubu as a candidate. Then there is going to be another political party, probably in ADC, that could have Atiku. Then we could also have PDP that could bring either Peter Obi or President Jonathan or somebody else. And then there is a political party that the coalition has also approved to be registered, which is ADA. The ADA.
I was going to come to that.
Yes.
Maybe you answer it immediately. What's even the state of ADA?
No, the state of ADA is that we have, I am of the ADA group. So we have virtually concluded our arrangements to meet all the legal requirements for registration. We are waiting for INEC, and INEC is very much open to this, and it has stated in its last press release that it did on Thursday that it's going to immediately open the portal and then bring pre-qualified political associations that can register. And they said it's going to be immediately after the 16th of August by-elections. So the 16th of August will be on Saturday, so 17th on Sunday. I assume it will be on the 18th on Monday. Once it is open, once we are pre-qualified, then we just immediately...
So for you, we're discussing ADC, PDP, ADA when it gets registered,
yes,
could be in the running,
yes,
to unseat President Tinubu.
Yes. So these 4 political parties are likely to, contest, are likely to bring candidates. I don't ever mistaken that until all political parties come together before the president is defeated. No.
So from what you're saying, you do not particularly agree with what the former governor said.
Yeah, well, he is my chairman of League of Northern Democrats.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to come here and say I take exception to his viewpoint. We discussed that viewpoint with him, privately.
But you're stating your own.
Yes. My own is that
what happened in 2015
is not necessarily what's going to happen in 2027. And besides, by 2015, President Jonathan was still very strong politically. A whole lot of electorates were with him. It's not the same here. Now, don't forget, look at the calculations. In 2023, President Tinubu got 8-point-something million votes.
I was going to get to that.
Of these 8-point-something million votes, 5-point-something, constituting 63.66%, comes from the North. And the North is not happy with him. So it is most likely Peter Obi will not lose his votes in 2027. His 2023 votes, he won't likely lose them. It is highly unlikely also, unless Peter Obi changes, his strategy, he's not also going to add any of this to his votes for 2023. Then Atiku is not going to lose his 2023 votes. He has the opportunity to even add. Why? Because the president is going to lose his 63% of his votes in the North.
You're convinced of that?
He will, at least I believe he is going to lose if he does not change, his strategy. See, the president was elected in 2023 by the North and the rest of the country. If the North says that they are not going to elect him now, it's not because he has changed. He has not changed. He's still the president. He's still Bola Tinubu. What changed is his policies.
Yeah, but the North is not you.
No, the North is not me.
There are others.
Of course, nobody is nobody is a constituency.
So it's not just your vote.
No, it's not my vote. I'm not talking about my vote. I know where I will cast my vote. But I'm talking about the constituency in which I interact and I see and I know, their viewpoint. So if the president does not change some of his policies, then he is most likely going to lose 63.66%
okay, because of
his
time.
votes.
Let me just put this question. I was going to ask you, what do you mean by changing his policy? But let me not toe that line because I don't have all the time in the world.
Okay.
Now you have practically touched the questions, but after all said and done, it is the electorate that will decide whether Tinubu and APC comes back or is voted out.
Certainly.
What sound bites are you getting from the electorate? You want to talk on that more. And should the APC be resting on their oars, especially, with the performance of the administration so far?
Well, I will not blame President Tinubu for the suffering and the poverty in the country and especially in the North.
The buck stops at his table.
No, I will not blame him as a whole. Before he came, these issues were there. He came with a view to resolving these issues. His failure to resolve these issues is the problem. So he needs to resolve these issues. Not only has he not resolved these issues, but he has also compounded it with certain policies.
So you're blaming him?
Yeah.
You're saying you're not blaming him?
No, I'm not blaming him as a whole. I said,
okay.
He said he is going to resolve our problems. He did not resolve these problems. Then he compounded these problems through some policies, both in projects, in appointments, and so on. If he change, then probably he can save his votes in the north. If he doesn't, then I don't see him, the northern people changing and voting him now.
I know you've talked about 4 parties in the equation, but you talked about the number of votes he got in 2023.
Yes.
Between Atiku and Obi.
Yes.
Who supposedly are in ADC. Both of them got 13 million plus votes.
Yes.
So, do you think this, if both of them join, that they could probably upstage?
That is, if they have a joint ticket, say Atiku Obi or Obi Atiku. I don't see it to be Obi Atiku. It only then has to be Atiku Obi. But it is very difficult the way they are going for that to happen. But it necessarily to defeat the president doesn't have to be like that. Okay. They could go individually and still the president will be defeated. And I told you that the election of 2027 is not about defeating the president. It is about who succeeds him.
Yeah.
So if we are able to resolve on who succeeds him, either we bring Atiku, Peter Obi, Rotimi Amechi, maybe Nasru, or somebody else, because the possibilities of bringing somebody else outside these 4 is also there. So somebody else that Nigerians could say, look, we are going to, benefit better by this person. Maybe he is not engrossed in all the shenanigans the politicians have been doing. We will get, him voted into power. It is also a possibility.
All right, so we'll look at what happens, like you said, on the 18th, most probably, that INEC will register. I didn't know that ADA was still in the running. So we'll look at what happens on the 18th, like you said, with ADA, and see whether ADA will...
No, the 18th, if INEC opens its portal and pre-qualified the political association for registration, only starts the process in earnest.
Okay.
It will have, the political associations will have 30 days within which to fulfill the requirements of the law, and then INEC will have 60 days within which to verify and determine whether or not it will register the political parties.
In 1 minute, Umar, what would you have the president do that is not doing, that is making the electorate in the north, or will make them not vote for him? What would you have him do otherwise?
Well, in 1 minute, I will say the president needs to change a whole lot of his political trajectory and ensure that those critical areas in the north that needs to be resolved and those critical elements in the north that needs to be brought on board are resolved and brought on board. If he is able to do so, and he has done so openly and convincingly to the people, it is not impossible for him to be re-elected.
Thank you so much for your time. Omar Ardo, convener, Northern League of Democrats, for being on the program.
Thank you. I appreciate for having me.